But we're not done. We still need a thumb to come off of this opening. Working with the same color that you've been using for the leading yarn, find that thumb opening, and now here are your 3E cast-on loops. Turn, because you're going to be working in the round now like this, so you want to work from the right to the left, and you're going to pick up a stitch in this first E cast-on loop. So see that? Now here I'm leaving a nice long yarn tail. Why am I doing that? Even though we're going to do a careful job, we might have a little neatening up of holes at the end after we finish this thumb. So I like to leave a nice long tail in case I want to do some neatening up. Again, just as before, I want to make sure I'm working with the working yarn and not with that nice long tail. So let me hold that tail down here. And now I'm just going to keep working my way around the thumb. Going to this is that second E cast on, that's why it's a little bit tight and sticky. And there's that third E cast on. Actually, that's the very first one I put on the hook originally. Now it's my third, but it was originally the first. And I now can move on around the thumb. Here's a gap here between the E cast-ons and the outlining stitch. What I'd like to do is pick up an extra loop here so that and I kind of work it down into this gap so that it's got a couple bars of yarn behind it, so it's a little sturdier. I just want to have an extra loop in this gap before I move over to pick up the next leg. So see how that works? Here's my outlining line of stitches. I use this point here as a reinforced spot to pick up an extra loop in the gap between the E cast-on stitches and the stitches in the gusset. And now I can work my way. Oops, I split that stitch. Let's get back there and do that again. I can work my way around. Here we're going to have to attach the trailing yarn. So again, I'm going to leave a nice long tail because I'd rather cut a tail off at the end than feel I needed to strand a new yarn on. And I pull, oh, I pulled through two there, didn't I? That's not what I want to do. I just wanted to pull through the first loop that was on the hook. There we go. Recall how we started that the first time. Make sure I'm putting the tail aside, working with the working yarn. And for the very first one, I have pulled just through one loop, but now I'm going to pull through the purple and the white. And the purple and the white. And the purple and the white. And just like normal. Just work your way around. I'm going to turn back so I can continue going around the gusset with the leading arm yarn. There's that last increase row. And again, I'm going to want to pick up in this gap. And notice how I'm not just picking up this loose leg, that would be a big empty hole. What I'm doing is working my way in a hook up underneath and picking up two strands. Do it however it makes sense to you. It's not that specific, but you just want to be able to pick up enough that you've got a little gumption in it. Having picked up that last stitch in the gap, we've now worked our way back around to the very first stitch that we picked up off that third E cast-on stitch. See, there's our tail, and there's the tail to the trailing yarn, and we are back at the beginning of what is now the thumb round. So we can just keep moving our way around. That first one's a little loose, but you'll snug that up and weave that end in at the end. We just keep carrying on and carrying on. Flip around and work that trailing yarn in just as usual. And I'm going to keep working this thumb up a little bit so that we can then show you the finish off. And really, you've got all the skills you need at this point to do the paving mitts. What I've done here is worked 1, 2, 3 rounds on the thumb, and now I'm getting ready to finish it off, just like we did for the hand of the mitt. In this case, I want to decrease 1 stitch just to snug up the tip of the thumb a little bit, and I'm going to work a Turkish simple stitch 2 together. Just like the 3 together, you just slip the hook through the appropriate number of loops, in this case 2, because I'm working 2 together. Yarn over the hook and draw it through, and I've decreased 1 stitch by working that 2 together. And now I'll continue on around the thumb one last time. Now, as you can see, I've worked my way around the thumb a total of 3 rounds, and I've come right up to that stitch where I decreased on the prior round. That's going to be the first stitch of my bind off. I now need to work the trailing yarn right up to that end point. I'll take it through the purple and the white as usual, the purple and the white, the purple and the white, and I've got the 1 stitch left, the 1 white stitch left. So this time I'm just going to take it through just the purple. I'm going to break off my yarn and pull that tail through to end off the purple yarn. Let me turn back now, because now I need to work around that edge with the slip stitch crochet, and that will finish that edge off nicely, and then I can add the crab stitch as I did before. So now we have a very odd looking mitt, but it's got a portion for the hand, a thumb. Of course, for the bottom, you'll now just attach a yarn and work crab stitch around the bottom edge of the cuff as well, and then you'll have a completed mitt. I hope this swatch has been helpful for you as you've taken on the challenge of Tunisian crochet in the round. I hope you've actually seen that it's really very easy and very enjoyable.